on SmackDown, which was fantastic, only to set up another stipulation match. The booking makes zero sense to me. The match was fantastic and what we've been waiting for. And hopefully now Shinsuke will pick a good match for them to have where we can have a decisive winner. I wish they would have waited and said it would be for SummerSlam, but oh well.
What stipulation do you think that Shinsuke is going to choose? Is it too obvious to pick a ladder match because it's going to overload a lot of ladders?
You can't go with a ladder match. To me,
any other pay-per-view, I would not mind those two.
Exactly.
But you can't have. Well, you could. I mean, they've had plenty of ladder matches on a pay-per-view before, but you'd rather shy away from that. But
especially
again,
at Money in the Bank, yeah.
Yeah, they've done no DQ. What's next?
Well, I don't know, but the ladder match makes the absolute most sense if you're going for a match where there has to be a winner, because you can't lose that match any other way than someone else grabbing that title. But not on the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. That makes zero sense to have what we're looking at. Two ladder matches currently booked, another one rumored to be booked with the tag team Money in the Bank. Now if you throw a fourth ladder match on the pay-per-view, it gets a little overwhelming. And what are you going to do with 4 ladder matches that hasn't been done in one of the other 3? It's going to be hard to do. So to me, I got to say that it's got to be something like a last man standing or a falls count anywhere type thing. I don't know. It's going to end in a schmoz again because they're going to have to build it up for SummerSlam, I think.
You think so?
I do. I just don't see them giving us what we want yet, even though for some reason they decided to on SmackDown.
It's just, you say last man standing, you definitely could have a not clear-cut winner there. You could have both guys not being able to answer the count.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other one? Falls count anywhere?
Yeah.
I could see that. That could happen. Like, I think a finish can happen where someone does win the match, but it not devalue the feud going forward purely because of a stipulation. If it's a bigger stipulation like a falls count anywhere and literally anything's going down, then I mean someone could get a easy win via however you want.
Here's my thought: if they go with something where a pinfall counts, they're going to double pin them.
That's true. They'll do anything.
Yeah, I mean
they'll do anything to continue this.
Yeah, because then we don't have a clear cut winner again. We need another match. Just the way, based on what we've seen so far, that's my guess on their booking. But we'll see when it comes down to it. The final match on of the card, which actually took place before the Shinsuke and AJ match, but live it was after. Becky Lynch defeats Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville in a qualifying match for the Money in the Bank ladder match. So Becky Lynch is going to Money in the Bank. Here's your matches now after SmackDown shakes things up. In the men's match, we have Kevin Owens, Bobby Roode, Braun Strowman, The Miz, and Rusev, and one member of The New Day, which hasn't been announced yet. And in the women's match, we now have Alexa Bliss, Ember Moon, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch. So we've got, I believe, 4 slots to go on the women's match, and I believe 2 more slots to fill in the men's match. We have a rumored tag team one, which they did nothing with this week, so it'll be interesting to see. Overall, I thought both shows were actually pretty good and entertaining, which is awesome because Raw has not been that great lately. So it was fun to have some fun with the matches. I enjoyed SmackDown and Raw this week.
I did too. I thought it was a vast improvement over what we've been seeing, and hopefully going forward, because Backlash, I'm just not a throwaway pay-per-view. It's a big deal. But Money in the Bank is like your first real big test. You come out of the spring here, you're out of Mania, you're out of all the stuff, you're back from the tour, you can focus on going forward, because SummerSlam is your big goal now, so you got to start things off with Money in the Bank, which I think is really the SummerSlam's version of the Royal Rumble. You got a big thing that happens that sets up a lot of stuff going forward, and hopefully the TV supports it.
Well, I can only hope as well. I'm not sure. Do you know what the pay-per-view is for July? I can't remember what the name is.
Yeah, it's Extreme Rules, and it's in Pittsburgh, so I will be there live.
Rules. There you go. Live correspondence. Awesome. That'll be fun. That's always a good pay-per-view because they throw everything at the wall here. But all right, cool. That's our Raw and SmackDown recap. Let's go ahead and get into our first topic here. I'm going to go with the Brock Lesnar thing because I think it's relevant here. Brock Lesnar has been Universal Champion now for 400 plus days. He's on the verge of passing CM Punk's longest title reign of the modern era. Let's face it, it's not even close to the longest title reign in WWEFF history. But as far as modern era champions, CM Punk's long title reign has always been the gold standard, and Brock Lesnar is set to take that away from him because he will not be wrestling at Money in the Bank, which means that we'll wait another at least month, probably 2, before we see him wrestle again. So the big question many people are throwing around is Brock Lesnar being the Universal Champion really what the WWE should be doing right now, or does it devalue that title so much because it's never seen? What are your thoughts on that?
So, I don't know. I don't think it devalues the title. I think once this Brock Lesnar, it's not an experiment anymore. He came back in 2012, and it was kind of like a real-time, part-time thing, but now it's full-time, part-time, as he's in current storylines all the time with a title that's not part-time, but he's only showing up for certain shows. So it's a very interesting situation. I think once it's said and done, once Lesnar finally drops the title, whether he comes back or not in the future, I think it'll be better for the title. And this run with Brock, I don't think will hurt it going forward. I think it'll hopefully, unless it's Roman and they don't know how to do it, if it goes to Reigns, hopefully it's worth whoever takes it off Brock going forward to take that momentum for that title. Otherwise, it could be devalued like we talked about. However, the CM Punk thing, I'm a CM Punk fan, and I'm not one of these guys that's going to chant CM Punk at these shows. However, I do not like that they're going to use this Brock Lesnar title reign in that way where they're going to, oh, he's the most in all these years, in the 25 years, blah, blah, blah. He's defended it like 7 times. CM Punk was the legitimate fighting champion, one of the last fighting champions to hold it that long. So I think it's a disservice to him, but hey, don't quit.
Yeah, the actual number that Brock has done is 10 title defenses since he's been champion in 400 and some plus days. So that's not many. However, my point of view is that while many complain that having the title on a guy who's never there is a bad thing, Brock Lesnar has proven that he is an attraction. He had the biggest selling T-shirt last year with the Suplex City thing going. People always want to see him when he's on TV. They always want to see him when he wrestles. So to me, Vince is looking at this as, I have an attraction. I'm going to bring this attraction out only when I need to, and it's going to pop my ratings. It's going to cost me a fortune, but it's good for business. And I think he's viewing Ronda Rousey the same way. And using her sparingly. So to me, I'm not upset with Brock Lesnar having the title and being the champion this long because there hasn't been a contender put in his way to take that belt off him because they've made those contenders kind of look weak. I mean, Roman Reigns looks awfully weak right now with the amount of times he's lost to Brock Lesnar. But then you throw in that they had a Brock Lesnar-Braun Strowman match, and Braun Strowman got pinned with 1 F5. They had a Brock Lesnar-Samoa Joe match, which they built amazingly well, that match, only to have him go down to 1 F5. There really hasn't been a contender who's been built up enough and they've given the green light to take it off of him, and they keep pushing Roman at us. And yeah, Roman's Superman because he can take 6 F5s before he goes out, but it makes him look even worse, I think. Hey, you survived 5, why can't you survive the 6? I mean, hit him with your finisher, do something. To me, it's been terribly booked, but I don't mind Brock staying the Universal Champion. I, in fact, would rather see the Intercontinental title elevated higher, which it has been on the Raw shows. I like that idea better myself. And Seth Rollins is doing a fantastic job right now with that title. So I don't mind if they want to have Seth Rollins main event Raws from now on with the Intercontinental Championship on the line. And then the pay-per-views where Brock is not wrestling, have that be the main match. I'm not opposed to that. Eventually, it does have to come off Brock Lesnar because he's too expensive, and he's not really, his heart's not in it as far as being with WWE full time. He wants UFC matches again. He wants to get back into that kind of world. He's got other interests. He's getting older too, and he's not really as good as he used to be in the ring. He doesn't do a whole lot. So eventually it has to come off him. So who should get that nod? I don't think it should be Roman Reigns. I have a feeling it will be, because that's what Vince wants, and they should get that over with as soon as possible. But if not him, who should get that title? A couple people I have in mind. Obviously, Braun Strowman is number one, because I think he is fire right now with the crowd. He's money for them. They just need to give it to him and let him run with it for a while. Otherwise, the only other person I can see really having a chance would be the Intercontinental Champion, Seth Rollins.
And that's where you make a good point. You mentioned the Intercontinental title being elevated. Now, that's something I will agree with. I've really enjoyed the likes of The Miz and Seth Rollins and Balor. Even some of the other guys that are getting chances at the title are really getting elevated to those other parts because Brock is the champion and there's no champion to have a match. So I like that. And I also agree that because Brock's such an attraction, it's almost... It like adds to it. They go, oh, the champion Brock Lesnar. It's just not just Brock Lesnar. So you get to see someone. I don't know. I guess the marquee makes it that much more. That the title actually makes the guy almost in this sense. Like, and it's a dual effect because Lesnar's making the title by holding it and not losing it, but the title's making him because people want to see that title because it's never on TV. So at live events, if you have Brock Lesnar a chance to see him, you go see him. And the guy, I think Braun is definitely your guy here, but they've given so many chances to Roman. It boggles my mind that you say, "Oh, I hope they pull the trigger soon." Well, they've had so many chances to just jettison this thing and get it going, and they just continue to procrastinate. It's worse than procrastinating in college. You know, they just continue and continue, and it's going to be to the point where it's not going to be worth it anymore, and no one's going to care about what Roman does. So I hope either they take it off and with Braun, or if Lesnar's going to have to drop it, not one-on-one, put it in like a fatal four-way. I thought SummerSlam was the best chance, and they didn't do it then. So I don't know.
And I would argue that that time has already come. It's not worth it anymore to put it on Roman Reigns, but Vince seems to have it in his skull that it needs to be. Everyone's talked about it. Turn Roman heel, breathe some new life in the guy, and then maybe we can buy it. It's not going to happen, but we'll have to just wait and see. It definitely needs to come. Title needs to come off of Brock Lesnar. I would say before the end of the year. I don't think anyone wants to see Roman Brock 78 at WrestleMania.
Oh my God, I can't even deal with that.
No, and so it's time. I hope they figure it out. I hope they give Braun the slot myself, or even Seth. Why not put it back on Seth? He was a great WWE champion. There's no reason why he can't be a great Universal champion. Let's give him a run and let's do it there. It would really make him strong if he can beat Brock Lesnar. And people might actually want to see a Seth Rollins Roman Reigns feud.
That's what I'm saying. It has been unfortunate for Roman here. The only feuds he's getting for any sort of title is against Brock Lesnar. If you just, and I have nothing against Brock Lesnar. He's done so much for this company and for the business, and it's on ESPN now and mainstream and blah, blah, blah. You take him out of the equation, like once he's finally gone, I have no problem seeing Roman Reigns fight anybody because it's almost like a level playing field. It's not, we have to make Roman look strong for another guy. He can, go against a Seth Rollins and have a great match. They have a backstory. There's so much on the table. Give Roman the belt, and maybe we can see some stuff, and maybe more people will, get a liking to it.
No, and I agree with you there. I mean, I have no problems with Roman Reigns as a worker. He's fantastic. I mean, one of my favorite feuds of the last year was Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns.
Oh yeah.
Nothing they did disappointed. It was all fun, good, excellent booking. I would love to see that for the title, whether it be Braun holding the belt or Roman holding the belt. Just get him away from Brock freaking Lesnar, for God's sakes. I think it's hurting him as a worker, as a character, and it's doing no good. So, yeah, I'm with you there. I think if once they get the title off of Brock Lesnar and put it on someone else, now we can start getting invested into great matches again. Otherwise, it's just suplex, 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 F5. Suplex, 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 F5.
And the other thing I was going to mention, I forgot, you mentioned who has been the most, Roman looks like the biggest challenger thus far. You forgot to mention now, although he's on a different brand, AJ Styles put up a hell of a match with Brock Lesnar at Survivor